This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news, and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Georgia Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Burgamy.
Well, for the first time in a few weeks, the team together again. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Georgia Farm Monitor. I'm Ray DeLessio.
And I'm Kenny Burgamy. Yes, we're back in the saddle, and as always, we've got a great show for you. Now, coming up, a look back at this year's Southern Peanut Growers Conference and the uncertainties producers are dealing with this election season.
Hey, speaking of challenges, if you're a beginning farmer, you, of course, are facing many obstacles, one of which includes financial means. Well, we've got you covered. Actually, USDA has you covered. We'll tell you about some really good programs out there that'll help you get things started off right.
And then later, the story of how this Cartersville, Georgia family is using their love of equines as tools for building a foundation that will last for generations to come. All this and more starting right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Well, peanut producers from across the Southeast gathered in Sandestin, Florida recently for their annual Southern Peanut Growers Conference. It's a chance for producers to get away from the farm and understand a lot of new technology, whether it's related to research or something within the industry. A beachside resort and beautiful weather. About the only thing that could pull these peanut producers away from the daily grind of growing season. However, as many will attest, they also know the importance of networking with other growers and hearing from experts in the field of agriculture regarding important information about their livelihood.
That's what it's all about, is kind of letting everybody know what's going on as far as crop is concerned, any new chemicals or products or new methods that we might use in production, peanut production. That's what's important. So it's I reckon you'd say, conference in the middle of the summer to kind of back up what the spring meetings and all that we have, and as far as production meetings, and this just kind of reiterates, and then it also talks about a lot of the aspects as far as peanut production.
And while peanut producers endure one of the hottest and challenging summers on record, the political climate in Washington, D.C. is also heating up, not only with the 2016 presidential election just 3 months away, but talks of a new farm bill as well. All this begging the question, what can a producer do in this period of uncertainty?
We don't have hundreds of thousands of peanut producers in these states. It's, like most commodities, pretty small. The opportunity, other than voting and getting to know your congressman and staff people, is political contributions. And we're encouraging our growers to become more politically active, make political contributions to our packs. We have 2 grower packs, one in Alabama, and then we have a U.S. pack that spreads across the peanut belt. So we're very much encouraging that, and these growers to recognize that these programs and policy require political activism, and they need to get active.
My goal, as is the goal with every ag chairman, is to get it done before the current one expires. Not have to have these short-term extensions or all the drama that goes along with threatening people with the 47 Act or the 39 Act, all those kind of stuff that happens to us when we get right up to the deadline. And I hope to avoid that, but every chairman ever has said that exact same thing, so we'll see how that works out.
Now, you heard Bob Redding mentioning how they're urging peanut producers to make a political contribution. AmericanPeanuts.com, your go-to source for all information regarding the U.S. Peanut Pack and how to contribute and how your contributions will be used in Washington, D.C.
In other ag headlines, with the extreme heat and lack of rainfall, Georgia farmers are being urged to keep a close eye on any and all ponds near their fields. Dennis Hancock, a UGA Extension forage specialist, says conditions are just right to see a number of ponds with blue-green algae blooms, something that can result in people, dogs, cattle, and other livestock being sickened by algae-like bacteria. Animals infected will show signs of weakness, muscle tremors, and convulsions, among other things. A word of caution, though, using chemicals to kill the algae will lead to the release of more toxins into the pond, rendering it useless as a water source for weeks or even months. Georgia hay producers are working hard in the fields, but thanks to Mother Nature, many of those fields are very dry. Recently, the Monitor's Mark Wildman visited one family farm in Oglethorpe County to get an update on how well the crop is growing or not growing in northeast Georgia.
On the Brubaker family farm in Oglethorpe County, Ben and his dad Dale are very pleased with how the hay crop is going. This hay has been cut and raked, and it is now ready to be baled and taken to shelter.
What we do here is we grow horse quality Russell Bermuda square bales that we sell directly to retail stores, and we've been in the hay business for many years, and we've started specializing in horse hay within the last 5 to 10 years.
This year, like many years in Georgia, it can be summed up in one word.
Dry, but they're looking pretty well. We're actually getting up our third cutting right now, and it's yielding good, good quality hay, weed-free for the most part, and we're very pleased with it.
This family farm takes many important steps to make sure their hay crop is of the highest quality possible.
Our big thing is actually not even during the growing season, but during the off season, we're pulling soil samples, making sure that our soil nutrients are at the proper levels, and if they're not, getting them there before the crop starts growing.
Around Georgia, farmers are battling dry weather, and there may be a shortage of hay this year. Georgia Farm Bureau Assistant Director of the Commodities and Marketing Department, Joe McManus, stays in touch with producers to let them know about Georgia Farm Bureau's hay directory.
The hay directory is a listing of hay producers across the state that have hay for sale. And we listed in there with what they actually have for sale, along with their contact information, so that people that need hay can get in touch with them. I've got some calls at work from people in June that were feeding hay and looking for hay. So we'll have a shortage this year, and I would encourage anybody that has extra hay to list it in our hay directory to help the people out that don't have any and let them be able to find it.
Along with the hay directory, Georgia Farm Bureau sponsors a hay contest.
And the purpose of the contest is to encourage quality hay. When people enter the contest, they get their hay tested from the University of Georgia using the relative forage quality, and that will give them an indication of the quality of the hay and the digestibility of the hay, and gives them a marketing tool if they're selling it, and if they're using it themselves, it lets them know how good their hay is and how much supplementation they need.
So as the Brubakers gather another very good crop of hay, they are thankful for the rains that have come, and the hope is a little more rain will fall here and on other fields around the state. Reporting from Oglethorpe County, I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Mark, thank you so much. When the Monitor continues a one-on-one conversation with former Georgia State Senator Ross Tolleson, his commitment to agriculture and why he was chosen as this year's GFB Commodity Award winner. Stay tuned.
I'm Nicole Bridges, and I'm from McDuffie County. I got involved in the FFA during my first year of middle school. Our chapter advisor and our agriculture teacher at our middle school, he held a creed speaking contest, and he said that whoever could memorize the creed and miss less than 5 words, they would win $20. And I really wanted the money, so I memorized it, and I won the contest, and I became his creed speaker and got involved in the FFA. In the fall, I will be attending Clemson University. My major is agribusiness, and so hopefully the 5 to 10 year plan, I will be working for an agriculture related company, and I would love to work in their information systems, maybe a little bit of engineering, definitely love technology, but I want to stick with agriculture.
To learn more about the National FFA organization, log on to ffa.org.
Hi, I'm Jed Evans, formerly with Georgia Farm Bureau. I had the opportunity to work with Farm Bureau Federation for 8 wonderful years. I started out in the Commodities and Marketing Department, where I had the chance to work with our livestock producers across the state on policy development, animal welfare issues, a variety of various policies. And that really got my roots started in the policy development process of Farm Bureau. Policy that has made it into the Farm Bureau policy book and taken all the way to Atlanta and Washington, D.C. Those 8 years of experiences helped prepare me for this opportunity that I now have with Ag Georgia Farm Credit. In my opinion, there are 3 main aspects of the Georgia agriculture industry. The research and extension portion, which is run through University of Georgia, Fort Valley State, those research universities. You've got the legislative arm, which Farm Bureau is leader in. And you've got the financial arm, which is the Farm Credit Institution. Ag Georgia works as an association the entire fat part of the state. We almost form a question mark throughout the state. So I'm able to work with the farmers really throughout our territory, but primarily in a 13 county area around Houston County. Another huge passion of mine is my family and our farm. My wife Shanna and I have a 13-month-old little boy named Oliver, and he is the greatest thing that's ever happened to us. When we talk about the future of Georgia agriculture, all I have to do is look at him, and it really almost gets you emotional thinking about that future generation and what we're looking to do as young leaders within Georgia agriculture to make sure that the future is bright for them. It's one of the passions that I carry with me in Farm Credit, helping our producers stay on the farm, because these folks have families just like I do, and I know that we all share that burden to help provide a better future for our kids.
The Georgia Farm Bureau held its annual commodity conference in Tifton recently. During the event, organizers took time to honor former State Senator Ross Tolleson with the GFB Commodity Award. The award recognizes individuals for outstanding service and contribution to Georgia's agriculture. When we visited with Senator Tolleson in his hometown of Perry, it was evident that he is proud to be part of the long history of Houston County's community leaders.
I had a guy from Portland, Oregon. And my name, Thorben Ross, came from Portland, Oregon. My grandfather ran in the Army, ran a sawmill in Portland in World War I for the government. And his best buddy was J. Thorben Ross. And so my dad was named Thorben Ross Tolleson, and then I was named Thorben Ross Tolleson Jr., and my son's the third. And that guy said, "We got a bridge named after that guy." I said, "Well, that's named after me too." You know, at the end of the day, they care, because they were born and raised in Perry, Georgia. And you had that small town where everybody helped each other, and you care. I mean, I care tremendously.
Tolleson is quick to say he never focused on his own political career while serving in the Senate.
Titles don't mean anything to me, because it's not about me. It's about working hard with everybody else to make Georgia move forward. That's what it's about. It ain't about me.
He called the work he did with natural resources and the state's environment a rewarding experience. He said that's the reason he's so excited about the Commodity Award from Georgia Farm Bureau.
Well, I always work with people because it's not about me. And I really seriously mean that. And that's what's wrong with Washington, D.C. today. They don't even want to have a discussion with each other. Well, how are you going to solve a problem? You know? And the way I look at it, you talk to everybody. If they want to come in and sit down and talk about whatever the issue is, sit down and talk about it. No, I won't get everything I want. No, you won't get everything you want, but you know, the state of Georgia might win. And that's the way I look at it, you know? And I think that it paid big dividends. I really do.
The former state senator was responsible for overseeing the Flint River drought protection legislation, as well as protecting Jekyll Island's pristine shoreline.
Because you need somewhere like Jekyll that's at peace. But if you go to Jekyll, it's so at peace, you know, and you can actually go down there and stay and walk on the beach and relax. You need a place like that.
Although Tolleson announced last fall he was leaving the Senate because of health concerns, he told us he won't sit on the sidelines.
I still think that we've got great potential moving forward for industry and agriculture. God just gave me another route to go. And I am not going to sit on the porch and not say something. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to talk about America. I'm going to talk about the greatness of this country. I'm going to be positive about it all the way, because that's what we need to do. We got to get positive about our dialogue about America. And my wife, bless her, she is such a blessing to me. I am so lucky to have that woman. She really, she put up with 13 years of me being in the Senate and being gone all the time and traveling all over the United States, and I just thank God for her. I really do. I'm a blessed man, and I love her to death. She is so awesome.
Just a great person. And join us next week as the Monitor continues its coverage of this year's GFB Commodity Conference.
Now, meantime, there are a number of factors new or beginning farmers and ranchers need to consider when starting up their own operation. And the biggest issue, of course, is cost. That's where the USDA comes in, as they offer several different resources to those interested in getting into the industry. And the main asset being pushed is the FSA Farm Loan Program, which provides financial assistance to young farmers and ranchers.
It's a loan that is $50,000 a year or less that can be used for farm ownership or farm operating purposes. The process is streamlined. Application is a whole lot smaller than our typical direct loan application, and the funds are readily available to farmers and ranchers. Take in mind that farming is very hard work, and it's something that you have to be committed to. And if you're committed to it, the USDA has several different resources to help you get on the farm and help you stay on the farm.
For more information on this or other programs, log on to the Farm Service Agency website or contact the state office in Athens at area code 706-546-2266. Up next, Damon Jones with the story of a Georgia family who's using equestrian sports to build character and discipline. Stay tuned.
And this will grow out, and then the nutlet comes in mid-April.
It's something you might take for granted. Every season, farmers will harvest their crops and send them from the farm to tables across America. But harvest seasons are short, some lasting only a few weeks, and that's when demand for extra workers is high.
Most farms could not exist without seasonal workers.
Those seasonal workers are getting harder and harder to come by. The farm population is aging, and American workers aren't rushing in to fill the gap.
We don't have folks in this country who are willing to come work on the farm in 115-degree weather like we have today and harvest our crops and irrigate the fields and do the farm work that has to be done.
We're short of folks. Some of those folks have to come from outside the United States to do that job.
So farmers use a government program called H-2A. It allows foreign workers short-term visas to help harvest crops. But talk to farmers, and they say the program is broken. Government delays mean workers don't show up when needed, and labor shortages on the farm, they say, have reached a tipping point.
If we don't have labor to come harvest our crops, we're going away. We're going to go out of business.
Without access to a legal, reliable workforce, we'll have business decisions to make, and it will probably mean those fresh vegetables no longer produced in this country.
Our country has got to make up its mind whether we're going to import labor or whether we're going to import our food. Rural America is at stake here.
Labor's not the only problem. For ranchers living along the border, a stalled immigration policy means concerns about security.
So this is the fence that everybody normally is typical of seeing when they talk about a border wall. But what exists 2 miles just west of the city of Nogales is this barbed wire fence right here, a cattle fence.
Dan Bell is a third-generation cattle rancher. 10 miles of his ranch runs along this rugged border. It looks quiet, but it's one of the busiest areas patrolled by Border Control. They say the fence securing it can be scaled in a matter of seconds. Bell wants to see more technology, boots on the ground, and roads to access the miles and miles of rough terrain that is difficult to patrol.
People are going to cross right here where the border wall is. There's people crossing all the time. In fact, on that hill right there, on that knoll, there's a set of scouts that are watching us right now. They're working for the Mexican drug cartels, and those cartels are running the immigrants through as well as the drugs.
And in the minds of ranchers and farmers who live and work the land along this stretch of the border, security and immigration reform go hand in hand.
You can't have border security without immigration reform because you have to know who's here.
Meanwhile, farmers are reeling from labor shortages. They want Congress to act on immigration reform that addresses border security and establishes a stable, reliable, and legal supply of agricultural workers, including those who call a foreign country home.
They want something better for themselves and their children, and they're willing to work for it, just like our ancestors did.
They're looking to make their life better. Anyone that would cross a desert like we've looked at here today to try to make their life better is obviously motivated. You know, when we fix immigration, we need to think about what America really is, this melting pot, and all of us come from another culture or some other part of the world.
Why did you come to the United States?
Why? Because it's I got more opportunity right here.
And that's what built our country. And I don't think there's anything wrong with people trying to do that. And the people working in agriculture, that's the type of people they are.
I love it, this country. I love it.
I'm Jonna Miller for the American Farm Bureau.
Finally today, as any equestrian will tell you, raising and training show horses takes plenty of time and patience.
Yes, but as Damon Jones reports, it's a way of life for one Cartersville family.
It doesn't matter what the discipline, whether it's barrel racing or roping, each horse must be well trained. That's why they usually end up at a farm like this one first, with a trainer like Adam Toole who has a passion for the animals.
I got into training my own horses, and then now it's excelled to where I train a lot of other people's horses too, and it just gives me a great deal of pleasure to see a lot of the horses that I've trained be out there and competing, and know that the hard work that I've done, you know, is showing.
However, he is quick to point out that success doesn't just happen overnight.
Well, it takes a long time. It takes, I look at it as about 3 years to take a horse that's, you know, 3 or 4 year old to having him where he's ready to haul and be successful and competing at a high level.
Speaking of a high level, his two daughters, Lindsay and Sarah, are championship-winning equestrians with the saddles and belt buckles to prove it. It's a hobby he's more than happy his kids have taken up.
Like I said, it's something that's been passed down from generation to generation, and it's just something we've always enjoyed, and it's just good to see, you know, my kids do what my grandfather and his father done.
While Adam was the one to introduce them to the sport, it's something his kids have really developed a passion for.
I could do it every day in the mornings and the evenings with my family. I've just always loved it since my dad taught me about it.
That I get to rope every day and I get to ride and enjoy it with my friends and family. Well, I have to practice about every day. I have to rope the dummy and I have to do all kinds of stuff and take care of my horses.
It's a big responsibility that Lindsay and Sarah take very seriously despite all the work it takes.
It's a lot of feed him, and you have to check his water, and you have to just ride him every day.
And that's one of the main attractions for this sport, as it constantly keeps the youth both entertained and active.
Well, number one, it's outdoors. It gets kids outdoors, it gets them active, teaches them responsibility because, number one, they have to take care of a horse, so that's being responsible. And I think that in the long run, it helps kids, you know, be more responsible in life.
Well, it's fun with your friends and family, and you get to be outside, and you get to do it about every day if you want to.
And that's the main message Adam hopes to instill as he proudly watches his kids grow in the sport.
I'm like any other parent, you know, it does me good, it does my heart good, but, you know, my goal in life is, you know, to teach them the discipline part of it, you know, to help them, because you're not going to be a winner every day, you know, and try to teach them that even when it's not going good, that you can still be a champion.
Reporting from Cartersville, I'm Damon Jones for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
All right, Damon, thank you very much. Nice job. That is going to do it for this week's edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Here's a reminder for all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening down on the farm. Be sure and check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming, plus the Farm Monitor Show.
Take care, everybody. We will see you next week right here on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
As always, have a great week.